All right, welcome back to Mmabatho Convention Center in Mafikeng in the Northwest Province, or rather Bokono Bophirima Province. That's where we're coming to you live from one of our TNA Business Breakfast show in collaboration with SABC, and we're talking the VTSD, villages, town, and small Dorpies in the province, as to how they contributing, or they will in the future contribute towards the growth of the economy here in the province. And Mr. just before we go on the floor, I just want to bring one important issue here: the issue of spending. We do know that previously the province would spend in big cities. So how are you, or how has the province improved in terms of spending specifically into the VTSDs?
Yes, Palesa, the Premier indicated that the position was taken that in the 15-16 financial year it would be a 60% spend in VTSD, 16-17, 70%, and the next financial year 80%, so it would progress. So what we then did was we looked at our goods and services, and certain commodities were ring-fenced to say these are areas, or these are commodities which are non-negotiables, they will go to VTSD areas. For the 15-16 financial year, we were able to spend 34.2% within VTSD areas. When we went back and we went to go and look for the 14-15 financial year, remember there were no stats where to go and, look for these stats and pull them, collate them. We realized that only 19% was spent in our villages and townships and small Dorpies. So we had a jump from 19% to 34.2%. And that translated in 14-15 to about 1 billion rand. And after the pronouncement, it went up to 1.8 billion. And as at September this year, we are already on 39.5%. So you can see the increase that is taking place after the pronouncement that has been made. This is for us very important. One of the other things that we also need to say is, we have indicated that there's a national policy that we pay suppliers within 30 days. I can quite confidently say that we over 90% of payment within the 30-day period, because a mechanism has been put into place to ensure that we meet this commitment, we meet this priority. So we're on to over 90% payment. In some instances, we have 100% payment for within the 30-day period.
All right, so there's a positive pattern there.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to go to the floor now. At table number 23, Dr. Lesedi Kenneth, if you can just quickly raise up your hand and say your question. There we are.
Good morning, Palesa. Good morning, Honorable Premier. Good morning, Honorable MEC. Good people that are here, and good morning, South Africa. Honorable Premier, when we ask these questions, we are representing the voices that are coming out from the ground, because some of us had the benefit of interacting with the communities out there with regards to profiling the communities, as well as the establishment of the chambers of commerce in the VTSD areas. And these are some of the questions that were coming up. We attempted to provide answers, but we would like to use this opportunity to allow those who sent us out there to meet with the communities, to now hear from the horse's mouth in terms of what this is all about. So the first question, I have two questions. The first one is, how would the chambers of commerce that are established in the VTSD areas help those who are living in those areas? And the second question is, how would these chambers of commerce established in the VTSD assist those VTSD economies to impact positively on the targeted economic growth for the province? So those are the two questions that I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kenneth. The Premier, you can take one, and the MEC will take another one.
Firstly, as I said, Palesa, and thanks for the question, Dr. Lesedi. It's important for our people to be organized. That thing is very, very important. I'm going to urge our people to be patient with the process of organizing themselves along entrepreneurship in line with the context of the People's Chambers of Commerce. Now, I've already indicated that as government, we think that it's going to be important that our point of entry when we get into a village, a township, or a small dorpy must be a People's Chamber of Commerce. That's one. Two, the Chamber of Commerce, they will be working with us as government to make sure that as we bring investors from all over the world to come to the province, the Chambers of Commerce play a central, pivotal role in directing this investment to the strategic areas in the villages, the townships, and the small dorpies. Three, the Chambers of Commerce will be working with local entrepreneurs to make sure that they work with the state-owned entities to drive their agenda such that we can redirect our investment also as government through the state-owned enterprises in the VTSD areas. Four, the private sector in South Africa will want to invest, I'm sure, in the VTSD areas. We have called them to come to the Lekgotla today up to Friday. The Chambers of Commerce must have the capacity, must have the necessary coordination arrangement that will enable them on a private basis to work themselves with the private sector so that they can go and say, this is where we think you can direct investment in the villages, the township, and the small dorpies. I'll just make you an example. We were with the Minister of Mineral Resources and the traditional leaders 3 weeks ago. And we said to the minister, we want to see a map of the whole province on where are the different minerals located in the province with the traditional leaders. Now, over 78% of the minerals are located in the villages and the small dorpies, right? Now, the minister was saying to us that the mineral deposits, volumes in the province constitute over an estimated amount of 23 trillion rand in the province. Now, if you are in the Chamber of Commerce and you've got this information at your disposal, it means the entrepreneurs working through the People's Chambers of Commerce must then say, how do we make sure that we bring investors working with the government to invest in mining these minerals that are located in the villages, the townships, and the small dorpy, so that people don't over-rely on government. They can develop their enterprises, and working with their own enterprises through the People's Chambers of Commerce, they can implement the program for economic growth.
All right. MEC, you can take the second question.
All right, Palesa, yes. Premier earlier indicated that it's not only the formal and informal, but also people who have ideas. So the department would also assist with that, economy and enterprise development. When someone has an idea, to take this idea and put it into a plan, put it into a business plan, assist with feasibility, assist with funding through the various DFIs, but also to assist the SMME to register onto the database, to offer skills development in order for them to be sustainable, and then mentoring as they move along. So this would also then be the assistance that would be given to Chambers of Commerce. This has already been done. Premier refers to People's Chamber of Commerce, and this then is what the department would also then offer to people coming in, and that is part of the Chamber of Commerce.
But is there perhaps a time frame set for this Chamber of Commerce to be organized, Premier? You said people should be patient, but obviously poverty is here. People cannot be patient.
So we started with the People's Chambers of Commerce establishment around July. In all the 658 villages, as we speak, over 85% of those villages now have People's Chambers of Commerce. The 73 townships in the province, all of them have now the People's Chambers of Commerce. The small dorpies, all of them have got the People's Chambers of Commerce. Now, these Chambers of Commerce are going to culminate into your provincial People's Chambers of Chamber of Commerce. So we didn't wait for this Lekgotla to commence the process. And I must say, I'm very encouraged by initiatives that you see from the ground. We had an investment in the Quarter of Agriculture last week. And people from the villages were there. I saw a woman coming from a village called Broxby, involved in the business of extracting honey from bees.
Yeah, we spoke to her here on Morning Live last
You
week.
saw that woman.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we need to say. How do we then, through the chambers of commerce, make sure that we grow the business? How do we make sure that we find markets? How do we make sure that we professionalize it and not move away from the village, still stay in the village?
All right. Let's go to table number 17. That's where Tabang Tlale is. Tabang, if you can just raise your hand. Let's get the microphone to table number 17.
Thank you very much, the Premier and the MEC, and also the guest here. I greet you. My question is very simple. As chambers of commerce, in the municipalities, which offices are we supposed to work with? And the second question is that, what are we expected to do as chambers of commerce or deliver, and when? And if we are going to be responsible to facilitate the budget, which offices or which levels are going to be responsible for that? Are we going to say that from the wards or from the sub-regions or from the district or the province? Thank you very much.
All right, Taban, just before you go, are you in business? Or do you
Yes.
have business ideas as it is?
I'm in business. I'm
You're in
registered.
business.
Yes.
All right. MEC, would you take that one?
All right, thanks, Palesa. And my response to Tabang is, every village, every township, it has started within wards, but a ward obviously has, in some instances, have various villages. So your entry point is where you're staying, in your village or in your township. This then culminates into your ward, because in some instances, you have about 5 or 6 villages in a ward. This then culminates into your ward, it then culminates into your municipality. We're looking at having regular meetings with the chambers of commerce from a municipality as well. That would be your entry point. Your entry point would be into your municipality, and then it would go up to your district and then to your province. Now, I think the discussion that is taking place today is not only about procurement as indicated within the province, but it is also about procurement within municipalities. It is also looking at our state-owned entities. It is looking at our partners in business, the public, the private businesses out there, to say, what is your contribution? How do you help us build the economy of the Northwest? And these initiatives will then be taken out to the chambers of commerce to say these are the opportunities that there are. So it will be, the entry point will be within your ward and then within your municipality, and so it will escalate up.
All right, now,
Palesa,
okay.
Just before you go to the ground, you see the mentality will have to change also. That's why we call this a revolution. Our people should understand that yes, we must do business with the government, but you can't do over concentration of your enterprise in working with the government only. Our plea to our people is that now that we have got the chambers of commerce, we must sit down as the People's Chamber of Commerce and say, what is our approach as a chamber to innovation? How do we make sure that in this village, through innovation, leave government a little bit, who are the people throughout the world, in South Africa, that we can partner with to make sure that in whatever we innovate in, we can commence that thing from the ground, so that we don't over-rely on the government, because the resources from government are not limitless. Government is confined to budgets and so on. So we urge our people to make sure that we grow business outside the modality of over-dependence on government. Government will, of course, work with them to make sure that we comply with the laws, to say to them, how do we capacitate them, and so on and so on. And I'm happy that the SOEs are here, including the national ones, like ESCOM. I saw
I am
Dr. Brian
going to
Molefe
bring
here.
Dr. Molefe into
Yeah.
the conversation, but just before we do that, let's take another ad break.